What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we'll be taking a look at game number 43 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes here, coming off a win streak that has now put them at the top of the Eastern Conference. They were tied for first place with the Washington Capitals, but then another 2 points for the Capitals puts them back ahead of this Maple Leafs team, but jockeying for position atop of, no, not the Atlantic, the Eastern Conference for this Maple Leafs team. Defensemen down to injuries, goalies down to injuries, Austin Matthews out with injuries. None of it seems to matter. This team keeps trucking along, winning games. You're getting production from your bottom six. You're getting defense who are all of a sudden now stepping up and chipping into goal scoring. And with all that said, we're still looking at this team saying there's things that could get better. So with that being said, we'll get into this lineup for tonight. We'll dig into how they match up against this Hurricanes team, what we're expecting, and a best bet. And it's all a presentation of Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of outcomes. Use code NATION, NATION, all caps. That's code NATION, NATION, all caps when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Okay, let's take a look first and foremost at the lineups for tonight's game and what the Leafs are going to be strutting out there from first down to the fourth line, and then we'll also take a look at the defensemen for tonight's game. But starting over on the Daily Faceoff page, we're seeing the first line, Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. I mean, no notes here really. I think this line continues to truck. I feel like they'll have an opportunity to have some success here against the Hurricanes tonight. Despite who Carolina is and what we normally look at them with this defensive team and shutdown team, I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a high-scoring affair for this Leafs team, which we will dig into later when we get to the best bet. But with that in mind, I do feel like this first line is going to have an opportunity to capitalize. Matthew Knies has been out of his mind. He scored 5 goals in his last 3 games here now. Austin Matthews just continuing to rack up points since his return, and Mitch Marner just quietly staying at the top of the Art Ross race here. This first line, I think tonight they'll be able to have success against the Hurricanes. Down to the second line, Bobby McMann, John Tavares, and William Nylander. This is a line who needs to get going. Bobby McMann has been exceptional, whether it's the second line, the third line, wherever else he is. It's not really seemed to matter. He seemed to find a way to drive play, drive lines, and have success. It's up to the other guys now to step back up. John Tavares has been fine. He slumped a little bit here, but it's William Nylander who I've been looking at the most. And we talked about it in the postgame against the Flyers there, and people seem to be giving some flack over the fact that we said, William Nylander, he's slumping. He needs to get it going. Like, oh, this is who he is. This is what he does. Well, William Nylander slumping is one thing. Taking yourself out of the play, looking disinterested, and just completely disappearing is another. And that's a Willie we haven't seen in a while. And that was the point I was really trying to drive home. And that's where I think this needs to change here tonight. That's okay. You can slump. You can go games without scoring, but is the process right? That's the other thing I talked about with the team as a whole. The power play as a whole. Okay, maybe you don't score or win every game. It doesn't really have to be one of those things as long as you're playing the right way, because this is a team where regular season success really does not matter. We're all concerned about how they do in the playoffs. 100 points, 120 points, I don't care whether it's the team or the player. It doesn't matter to me. Find ways to get yourself building good habits to win in the playoffs. That's where my concern has being with William Nylander over the last 8 games. He has looked a little bit disinterested. His play has dropped off. His engagement has dropped off. Tonight's got to be a night where he steps back into things against a tough opponent in the Carolina Hurricanes, who has not been playing at the peak themselves and might be looking to turn things around here in short order. Now you go down to your third line, Nick Robertson, Max Domi, Steven Lorentz. Robertson draws back into this lineup here tonight. I think it's probably the right call. Ryan Reeves played the other day against the Flyers. We're all pretty much looking at it thinking, okay, Ryan Reeves is going to go out and he's going to jump in there. He's going to fight Garnet Hathaway. Doesn't end up being the case for Ryan Reeves there, obviously, which is unfortunate. from the fan base perspective, it is Connor Dewar who steps up. But with that said, if you're a fighter and you're playing 6 minutes a night and you're not fighting, then at some point you're probably going to be pulled from the lineup. And that's what's happening here for Ryan Reaves. Whether it is just because of age, maintenance, or not fighting, regardless, he doesn't find himself back in the lineup here again. So Nick Robertson jumps back in. I think that probably works in the Leafs' favor here against Carolina. You want to bring some speed. You want to bring some skill, maybe some goal scoring ability back into the lineup. Robertson was a guy who showed it in the spurt. It kind of fizzled off there, and then he finds himself as a healthy scratch, which is something we all discussed and we had all predicted. Get it back on track here tonight with Domi and Lorentz. Down to your fourth line, you got Connor Dewar, David Kampf, and Pontus Holmberg. Connor Dewar kind of slapped me around and told me that I was an idiot the other day after he went out and played super physical and then got in the fight against the Flyers. That said, I still think this line is relatively vanilla. Connor Dewar is just the least vanilla of the three. He's the closest to some other flavor, French vanilla maybe, if that's what you prefer, if that's what you fancy. But between David Kampf and Pontus Holmberg, it's just guys who are filling minutes. Connor Dewar seems to be the most effective player of this fourth line. I don't really have high expectations for them. I'm just going to be really honest with you. More so just kind of eat minutes. If they do anything offensively here tonight and they're in the positive, then that's a bonus for this fourth line. So that's how your lineup shake out for tonight for this Leafs team. From 1 to 4 defensively, we're going to get a slight tweak to the defensive pairings, it looks like, as per Daily Faceoff, and that would start with Morgan Rielly and Chris Tanev being put together at the top there. They're going to go together on the first pair. Ekman Larsson and Philippe Myers are going to play together, and then your third pair, we're getting Simone Benoit and Connor Timmins. Now, with this, I kind of look at Philippe Myers and Simone Benoit actually stepped up pretty well against the Flyers the other day. I thought Simone Benoit was very, very good. I thought Philippe Myers had kind of taken a step forward and looked much better himself there. Now we're going to get a shakeup where he's going to play with Ekman Larsson. And quite frankly, I think that actually benefits him. I feel like Ekman Larsson is a little bit more of a stabilizing presence. Whether he's played with Benoit or Timmins, Tanev or McCabe, it hasn't really mattered. Even periods where he's with Morgan Rielly, he's just been calming. The guy who kind of needs to figure things out here is Morgan Rielly, and I know he scored the overtime winner against the Flyers on Sunday, and that was all amazing, but it's more than just the box score. It's more than just, did you score the game winner? And Morgan Rielly has been kind of a step behind so far this season. I don't know, maybe he's laboring an injury, but the play just hasn't quite caught up. Maybe him playing with Chris Tanev here tonight can help him get back on track. Maybe it eases things a little bit. Maybe it puts him in the right frame mentally and says, I don't have to do so much, and my game can be in the right place. So that's what we look at for our defensive pairings for tonight's game. As per our power play units, I gave my rant on the power play the other day. I said all that I needed to say. We're going to run them back here tonight. Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Rielly, and Nylander as your first unit. Nyes, Domi, McMahon, Ekman Larsson, Robertson as your second unit. Honestly, I think you should just change something up. I don't even know what it is at this point. I just don't care. Just change something. But you're running it back. So that's what you've got for defensive pairings and your power play, your lineup combos. And tonight we're going to get Joseph Woll starting for this Leafs team here against Carolina as well. Now let's go to our best bet segment. Our best bet is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION, all caps, code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Now, as we get to our best bet here, I can tell you, obviously, we're going to give out a player prop here tonight. But aside from that, my best bet would be you having the time of your life if you join us in Nashville for the Nation Vacation, March 20th to March 23rd. We're heading to Music City, packing our jerseys, heading to Nashville to watch Toronto take on Nashville in their own barn. Flight packages, we've got them. Prefer to handle your own travel. That's okay with us too. Whatever works for you, just get yourself there because this is going to be electric. Spots are limited. Don't miss out on your chance to join the action. Book your trip now at nationgear.ca. pretty cool experience that we'll have coming up here in Nashville, part of the Leafs Nation. So make sure to join us there. Make sure to head on over to nationgear.ca and sign up now. But we're going to go over ourselves first and foremost to the Bet365 page, and we're going to take a look in the anytime goal scorer markets. A guy that I've been betting on a lot lately has been William Nylander, and that has not panned out for us. So here tonight, we're going to shake things up, and it's a guy you might say, Zach, why would you do this? He's not a goal scorer. But the reason is because his line is buzzing. We're going to go Mitch Marner, anytime goal plus 280. This one pays $140. A $140 profit for Mitch Marner anytime goal on a $50 bet at plus 280 over on Bet365 tonight. Honestly, we're getting best price in market. We're getting a slight mathematical edge on this just compared to where market numbers are currently sitting at. And the biggest reasoning I can give you behind this one, I'm not going to try to sell you up the river, but if you don't want to bet this, I understand it is Mitch Marner. He's not really a goal scorer, but the reason I'm looking at Mitch Marner here tonight is because his line has been unbelievable. They're generating a lot. They're spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. He's all over things on the penalty kill. The power play, I mean, I can say this a billion times, and that's why I'm not betting power play points, but it's got to break through at some point in which he plays on the power play. He also plays late game situations, chasing a goal, with a lead, empty nets. Like, it doesn't matter. Mitch is out there in a lot of those opportunities. Overtime, if Mitch gets out there, if they need to goal at 3-on-3, like, he's having plenty of opportunities. And at plus 280 against the Carolina team that I'm seeing a higher total in tonight, I'm predicting that there's going to be a higher total and more scoring. I think that favors a guy like Mitch Marner to get on the board. So Mitch Marner anytime goal is my best bet, plus 280. $50 on this one. A half unit profits you $140. So make sure to head on over to Bet365 to get on that one. Again, if you did enjoy the show here today, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, whether it's Leafs Morning Take, game previews, or the After Dark show, here with myself following every single Maple Leafs game, all regular season long. It's all happening, and you don't want to miss anything. So make sure to subscribe here now. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in here today. Drop your comments, your predictions below. I want to know who's winning. What's the score? Will Mitch score? Will he not score? Are you tailing? Are you fading? I want to know it all. Drop it all in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see all of you back here following tonight's Leafs game for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.